Hello friends, wait a minute. Hope you all are fine. I'll share this stream with Oh, guys, thank you for joining the stream. Wait a minute. Uh, am I audible properly? Please. I'm fine. How are you, Apranil? Well, I'm starting the explanation soon, but I think I'm having some problem in streaming. That's why the stream is not coming properly. Mm, okay. Okay, guys, I'm finally live now. Hope you all are fine. Hope everything is fine. Is audio clear? Am I audible properly? And is the screen visible? Please say, because I don't know how the live stream is going properly or not. That's why I'm asking. Hello? Am I audible? By the way, guys, if you are watching the stream, then hello everyone. I'm sorry for the delay. Actually, my setup is not proper enough so that I can continue. Hopefully, everything is going fine. Still, I want to do a last minute check. Hopefully everything is fine. I'm starting the explanation. Everything is going fine. So hope everyone is fine, everything is fine, and I'm going live. Okay. So hello friends, I'm Darshan Kumar Das. Welcome to my live stream in the channel Shadow Bites. Hope you all are fine and hope everyone is fine. Soon my another team member of my channel will join with you. His name is Meban Kyandit or something. I'm sorry, Meban, if I pronounced your name. Actually, I forward your name. But I will explain the modules and library parts that we used in this project phase recognition with renders monitoring system using Python. And he will then later explain the whole code line by line. Meban will explain the whole code line by line later on. So hopefully you all are fine, and I am starting the explanation. And uh, so hello friends. So hello friends, as I said few minutes back that I will explain the modules that we have used in this project, modules or libraries, whatever you say, and also the algorithm. And later Mayban will join another team, another member of our sh- channel, Shadow Bytes. So we will explain the whole code. And so yeah, so without any further delay, let's begin and hope you all are fine. And if you are watching the stream, then please like it, and as soon as possible share it to as many people as you can, so that they too can get the knowledge of this whole project and how to use the modules and all. uh, Hello. Okay, so I'm live. So basically, this project, what is the purpose of this project? Well, basically this project is all based on face recognition based attendance monitoring system, and I'm coding. I have done the coding using Python. I mean, this project is coded with Python. So this face recognition and it basically what you do if you start first, you have to register yourself were used by entering ID or whatever ID you want, then your name, then you need to click on take images, then you need to type the password. uh, you can change the password later on, but by default the password will be SMAGIX magics in everything in small letter. And if you then save profile, then it will save the profile. And oh, by the way, while taking the images, it will take around 100 images, and it will convert your images to black and white images so that it can recognize the face better, and reduce the complexity of colorings. Then it will after typing the proper password, it will save the profile. And then yeah, and then everything, while taking the attendance, it will take the attendance and it will store your attendance in CSV, in Excel sheet in CSV format. So this is all about the project. Let me show a quick demonstration of this project before starting the video. Wait a minute. Oh, what the is. Before moving on to the slide of the explanation, let me show you how this project works and this code works, so that you can understand better that how this entire thing is happening, and how your face is getting recognized and everything, whatever is going on in this project. So yeah, mm, first let me minimize myself, otherwise you will not able to see the code and everything. So hope you all are fine. As I said earlier, basically how this code works. First of all, you need to install all the modules or libraries through command prompt, and then you have to run the code using ideally Python 3.10. By the way, first time when I run this code, it was running on ideally Python 3.8, but later on 3.8 was getting some issues with this code, and I see that it was running fine with ideally Python 3.7. But now I am seeing that it's running fine even on ideally Python 3.10, and some of you guys have also commented and said me personally in my WhatsApp group as and WhatsApp message personally that it's running fine even on ideally Python 3.11. So bit higher the version, better will be the everything, every output. And make sure if you download the, as I said in my previous video, that you should download use, if you are using Windows operating system, then I would recommend you to download it from the Windows Store for better compatibility. But if you download it from the website, Python's official website, then also it will be not an issue. But for better compatibility, it's better to download it from Windows Store. Anyways, that's all about it. And let me face audition. Okay, fine. Everything is going fine. Oh, thank you guys for joining the stream. Please stay in the stream for till the end. And hopefully everything is going fine. Yes. Let me delete all these details so that I can stop the registration, the entire process properly. Let me delete all this, and okay, everything is fine. Okay, now it's time to run the code. So as I already told you that you need to download ideally Python 3.10 from Windows Store. I mean, it may also run in 3.11, because many of you have said that it was running fine even on ideally Python 3.11. But as I have done with 3.10 and it was running fine, so I would recommend you to download ideally Python 3.10 at present. Later, if I see that it's running fine on ideally Python 3.11, then you can use 11 also. It's all your choice. And before running, okay, let me open the Python file first. Okay, open. Then you, as it's on my desktop, so I'm going to desktop, and then main.py file. This is the code. Okay, everything is going fine. So now how to install all the libraries, that also I'm going to show. By the way, if you are here, if you have watched my previous video, I have already shown that how to install the modules and all. It's not that complicated. It's simply what you have to do is, let me show you one small demo. You simply have to open command prompt, and then you need to open this folder. By the way, link to download this folder will be given in the description. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to give in the description. Don't worry guys, after the live stream ends, I will give the link to download this folder in the description, so that later you can download the file and do all the and see the execution of the code and all. And by the way, we are using Haar cascade classifier algorithm. Haar cascade frontal place default XML. There are many Haar cascade files, but for this project I am using Haar cascade frontal face default algorithm. Anyways, yeah. So in this install commands.txt file, you will see all the, and by the way, open it with notepad. Install command txt file, you will see all the how this is by typing pip install, then you need to type the module name and it will install all the modules. But for this particular project, I will say you do a shortcut trick for installing all the modules at once, and that is just drag and select the whole thing, this pip install ticket tools and all. Just drag, then copy by typing Ctrl C and come into the command prompt. Here you just need to paste by pressing Ctrl V. By the way, yeah, pressing Ctrl V, it will detect if the module is present. If it's not present, it will get installed, and if it's present, then fine, it will show something like it's already requirement satisfied. Like I have already installed the module earlier, so it's showing requirement satisfied, requirement already satisfied. So yeah, everything will get in, modules will get installed in this way. And for the last module, you need to press enter again. Although you don't need to install this times module because this is the default module of Python, so you can just ignore it. So after installing all these modules, now it's time to run the code. So here is, this is the code that I have opened in ideally Python 3.10, and it's not necessary to maximize. Anyways, but then click on run module, or you can simply press F5. Hopefully the code will run fine. Let's check. There is something happening. The code is having some issues. What's the issue? Tinker error. What the hell? Let me try again. Okay, I've disabled the okay. Okay, click on run, then click on run module. It's not running because of some reason. Maybe because of opening multiple full apps in the background, it's struggling to open the code. I should close it before, and I'm extremely sorry for that. I don't know why the code is not running. Nothing is showing. I think I need to close this. Close the command prompt. Okay, if the code didn't run properly with the ideally Python 3.10, then you can try another trick that I'm showing you. Simply open Just close ideally Python 3.10. Simply open command prompt. Now locate the file here. Folder location. Locate the Python file that we are going to run. So, oh, I'm sorry. You need to type cd, then paste the location. Okay, location is fine. Now you need to type python main.py. Press enter. Uh, I am extremely sorry. I am extremely sorry. I have earlier changed the code. That's why the code is not running properly. I have to do something. Okay, very fine. Now I understand why the code was not running properly. It's because I was changed the code earlier. Okay, I am extracting the folder again. Now hopefully I will not face any problem. I'm extremely sorry for the delay. Please forgive me. Oh guys, thank you. 4 people have joined my live streams. Thanks a lot for joining. I'm very happy to see that you all are participating in this live stream. If you have any question, you can chat down in the live chat. I will definitely try to answer. So, anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So hopefully everything is going fine. Uh, by the way, in the live chat, you can also say your location, where you are from, where you are currently staying. I am saying this because maybe your home is in one location and you have went to another location for your study purpose. That's why I mean, where are you now? Anyways, it's all up to you. Now, anyway, let me. Okay, open ideally Python 3.10. Python 3.10. Now, hopefully, the code will run fine. Open in the desktop. There, no, it's not desktop for every people. Your location might maybe this downloads folder or maybe other folder where you have selected the location. Folder main.py. It's sad to see you go out. Just few minutes back, 4 people were live watching, but now only 3. Open. Okay. Now simply click on run, then click on run module. Yeah, it's coming absolutely fine without any errors. So now I'm going to show you how this code works and how this attendance is taken and everything in details. Now you have to enter your ID. I mean, whatever ID you like, you can enter. But for now, I am entering one. Something is wrong. I think my keyboard has some issues. Okay, for now, I am entering one, and I am entering my name. Darshan Kumar Das, my name. Then click on take images. Okay, it will take some. By seeing the camera, you can guess that it's green screen and my background. Okay, images is taken. Now you have to click on save profile. Now here you need to type the password. For now the password is SMAGIX and everything in small letter. Keep in mind that everything should be in small letter, otherwise it will show wrong password and you will not be able to see the attendance. I mean, you save the profile. I'm sorry for the mistake. This is the first time I'm doing live. Anyways, now click on OK. Yeah, see, it's now showing profile saved successfully. If you by mistake type wrong password, then it will show wrong password. Please type again or something like that. Let me show you that also. I'm typing some random things and then typing OK, and now you see it will display a message wrong password. See, it shows you have entered wrong password. Click on OK and just and my profile is already saved, so I don't need to do all this password typings and savings again. In India, it's 12:18 p.m. Although it is 24-hour clock, so it's 12:18. In your country, if you are watching, if you are not watching it from other countries, then please comment down below what's the current time in your location. I will be happy to see your comments. And anyways, now I am to show you where these details are saved. So the details are saved in this folder which you will download after I will share the link to download this folder. The details is saved in here. This training image, as I have said you earlier, that your colored face will be converted to black and white so as to for better recognition, and it has taken 101 no 100 images. As you can see, as I have already told, it will take 100 images now, and for the it will take 100 images. It will take 100 images as you have seen. Now in the student details, it will store the student details in in Excel file in CSV format, which you can see. Okay, this is the details of mine or of any student, which will later be stored. Every student details ID will be stored in this format, which you can see. Serial number of students will, you can see it from the serial number, then ID, and then in this the student name or employee name, whatever, if you use in this project for uh, in office or what, office or somewhere. So this is done. You can close it, you don't need to save it also. And attendance is still blank because I haven't uh, clicked on take attendance. Okay, fine. mm, Now coming back to the code, but where is the code? This Windows 11 is having some problems, sir. No, Windows 11 is, although is highly optimized, but still it's having some issues here and there. Oh, I have closed the code by mistake. I'm sorry for that. Delete. Okay, I want to kill it. Yeah. I'm running the code again. And by the way, if you are watching this stream live, please make sure to like this stream and subscribe my channel, and also share this stream to as many people as you can, so that many people join this live. The more people will join the live, the more I will get motivated to do such live streams even in future. Uh, so yeah, now click on run module. I mean, okay. So as you have seen that I have registered myself, so it's showing total registration till now is one. This is one people has registered. If two people registered, then it will show two, three, three, four, four, and so on. Now click on take attendance. See, the code is running absolutely fine. Yeah, even without my wearing my headphones, the it's properly detected. But if I remove the spectacles, then maybe it happens that it will not detect. Let me see, because this code is you can use this for attendance recording, but this code has some small disadvantages in terms of accuracy. Wow, it's working even without wearing specs, without wearing glasses. Okay, fine. By the way, you need to press Q to stop taking the attendance. So simply press Q. Okay, see, the attendance is taken here. Sad to see you go out. Because few minutes back four people were watching live, but now it's three. Uh, anyways, okay, now it's fine. Now click on quit because it's not necessary to see this GUI. Okay, now I'm going to show you the folder where the attendance is stored. So it's stored here in this folder. As you can see, I'm sorry to see you go out. This is the attendance folder. I mean attendance CSV file. Ignore these stupid messages. This is the ID, then the name of the employee or student. Employee, I'm saying because many of you earlier commented in my video that can I use it for my office or in an organization. So that's why I said employee. And if you are using it, you want to use it for soon. But for using it as a real world, you need to rewrite the code in advanced way so that it can recognize even better way, because this code is not well equipped properly. This is just for you can say prototype. It's I would not recommend you to use it in the real world application. So here you can see the date is stored and the time is stored here. And by the way, I am just forgot to say one thing. It takes this data of live data of real time and date from the your computer, not from the internet. So, and if your computer is showing wrong time, it will take wrong data of time. So make sure that before running the project, you have to set up your time properly so that it can properly take the time. Anyways, you can see date is here, time is here, name and everything. Whoever is watching this stream, thanks a lot for watching, and thanks for your die-hard support. Please keep supporting me like this so that I can do streams like this even in future. So anyways, I am moving. So this is how basically the code works that I have just shown you. Now let's move to the explanation part. Okay, so I will be explaining the slide. So as have shown you just now that how this code actually works, it will simply take the your picture, 100 pictures next to next, and then it will store the details in. And by the way, while taking the pictures, it will convert your colored photo to black and white by doing some in the code you will find PRG to gray. Basically it will grayscale your image. Doing that, the code, the object detection, I mean the face detection, will be easier, and that's why this is used. And there is also another recognize algorithm used, this sub algorithm of you can say, so to recognize your face, and that is LPBH face recognizer, something like that. That I will show you later when explaining the code, or if Meban join, he can explain you far better. So, anyways, this is let's move to the next slide and show you what we'll explain you that how what are the modules or libraries and everything, and yeah, modules libraries used in this project and which algorithm we use to run the code of this project. So I'm moving to the next slide. Now coming to the algorithm and libraries used for face recognition, attendance based, face recognition based attendance monitoring system. Algorithm used is Haar cascade classifier algorithm, and there are many Haar cascade classifier algorithm. Let me show you that also. Just wait a minute. Okay, if you type Haar cascade on Google, then you can see there are many Haar cascade files in GitHub. From GitHub you can download. You can see Haar cascade IA XML, Haar cascade I3 XML, frontal face extended, blah blah blah, many Haar cascade file. But for this project, particular for this project, that is face recognition and attendance monitoring system, we are using this Haar cascade frontal face.xml, which you can see that in the PPT I have written Haar cascade frontal face default.xml. This particular Haar cascade file is used for this project. Other Haskell files are used for you can use it for other projects. I mean, for this Haskell file which you have which this Haskell I.xml, you can if you want to change the code to eye recognition based attendance monitoring system, then it will you will you have to use this Haskell I.xml. But it's not that easy. Even I tried that code earlier, that using eye to make eye recognition based attendance monitoring system, but it's not that easy. It's not working prop- properly. Even the face recognition itself is not uh, good enough in terms of accuracy. Meban is waking. Very soon my friend will join, the another member of this channel, Shadow Bites. He will join soon. Wait a minute, let me have some chats with another member who will going to join the stream. Sorry for the delay. Hello? Hello? Okay. Are you ready now or you will come later? Why you woke up so? Yeah, yeah, you at least for today's you could should. Anyways, yeah, you told me. Uh, yeah, yeah. If we do in night time, then I can do it in Saturday night to Sunday morning. Yeah. Okay. Do your breakfast and join. Come join as fast as you can. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Actually, you yesterday when we were discussing, you were saying no, that you will send a file for this, and your explanation was more clear. That's why I was saying PPT. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That I have merged with mine. Yeah, right. I have read, but wait a minute. I am checking. I have just shown that yesterday I have told no that I will show that code first, then I will go to the main explanation. I will show, no, not code. I will show the how the code works. That only I did, and just I was moving to the explanation, and your message pops up on my phone that you are wake. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Um, I am explaining you later. Join. It will not be not that bad, which you are thinking. Hello. Okay. Just text me when you are coming. Then I will introduce. You can introduce yourself that time. Okay. Mute yourself and just finish up your breakfast. Okay, I am going back to live session. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Longer longer videos have another advantage that I will say you later. If you are YouTuber, then you will understand what's the advantage of long videos. I will say yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. It will again be late, and later I have other works too. Okay, I will edit it later after the end of the session. After an hour? Okay, 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 okay. So, guys, as I was having some conversation with my team member, Meban. So that's why I was just this whatever conversation you heard. I If you find anything wrong, then I am extremely sorry. So here, what I have said that this hard cascade, there are many hard cascade files for various purposes, and here in this project, I have used hard cascade frontal face default.xml for this particular project. So now let's move to the next slide. Here you will see, mm, no, not next slide. Now here are the modules that we have used in this project. For first, we are used TK modules. This is basically TK inter. Sorry, not TK inter. TK inter modules that is used here. TK inter modules is shows as TK in Python TK tools. Date time module for showing the live date and time. PyTest shuttle is, I think it's not used here, but anyways, Python CSV module is used. NumPy Pillow module, this is pill which is taking for images and all. Pandas is used, and then time is the default module which is used here. Now, okay, now let's jump into the explanation of this algorithm and libraries. So, yeah, algorithm used is Haar cascade classifier algorithm, and in this project we have used Haar cascade frontal face default.xml that I have already told just now. So, about this algorithm, let's say some short history of this algorithm. Well, this is this Haar cascade algorithm, object detection using Haar feature based classifiers, is an effective object detection model proposed by Paul Viola and Michael Jones in their research paper Rapid Object Detection Using Boosted Cascade of Simple Feature in 2001. Basically, it's a machine learning based approach where cascade function is trained from lot of positive and negative images. Positive images contain the objects of interest, and while the negative do not. Then it is used to detect objects in other images. In case of face detection, positive images would be annotated faces, and the negative images would be images without faces. That I've just shown. The basically this works in the way that when you are recognizing your face, that time the positive images is the face part that you are that is there in the face part, that positive images is taken, and the rest part, we rest other part where there is not no faces, like the backgrounds and all, it only just removes the background. I mean it crop out the background. The face part is automatically cropped by detecting, it's automatically cropped, and we are you can detect the if the face is detected. That thing happened because of this Haar cascade frontal face default.xml. Oh, where is the mouse pointer? Wait a minute. This Haar cascade frontal face default.xml. So yeah, that is the thing. During the training process, the algorithm learns to identify features or patterns that are common in positive images but less common in negative images. Here in this case, initially the algorithm means not of positive images, images of faces, and negative images, images without faces, and train the classifier. Then we need to extract the features from it. I mean, how the face looks like, how what looks like, the features, that is the features, eyes, nose, mouth, lips, and all. These features can be included. This I've just showed just now. The trained classifier is represented by an XML file such as Haar cascade for frontal face default.xml. That I have said just now, that it is the Haar cascade uh, classifier default frontal face default.xml. This XML file contains the information about trained classifiers, and algorithm scans through the input image searching for regions that match the learned features. Once the potential face is detected, further analysis can be performed to refine the detection or extract facial features from for various applications like facial recognition, motion recognition, etc. So basically, this haircut, because of this haircut says frontal face default.xml, the face is cropped out from the background, and then it is detected. This face cropping part is occurring because of this hard cascade for frontal face dot xml. Oh, thank you for liking the stream. Thanks a lot, and thanks for staying in the stream to who are still watching. Now, moving to the next slide. It's important to note that while Haar classifier is widely used for technique face detection, it does have some limitation. It may struggle with poor variation in post lighting conditions, occlusions on or when faces are partially obscured. One more advanced techniques obscured. Basically, it says that if the lighting condition is not good enough, then it may struggles to detect your face. Like in low light condition, it struggles a lot. Even in my project, I have seen it struggles a lot in low light condition. So you keep in mind that your light condition should be good enough for the execution of the code of this project, because otherwise the code it will struggle, and maybe the project runs but didn't run properly, doesn't run properly. That may occurs. So yeah, and here in this slide that it says that other more advanced techniques such as deep learning based approaches have emerged, in recent years have shown better performance in challenging scenarios. Basically, you can use other for this project also. Instead of using Haar cascade, you can use other better classifier algorithm. Like one of this is YOLO for detecting object. So okay, this is all about the Haar cascade frontal default XML explanation of this algorithm, and I have said that how this algorithm works, and I have also said the disadvantages of this algorithm, where that is it doesn't work if properly if the light is not uh, good enough. Now let's move to the explanation of the libraries and modules that are used in this project. So the libraries modules are TK2, datetime, PyTest schedule, Python CSV, NumPy, Pillow, Pandas time, and these all modules are used here. I'm sorry for saying this so rapidly because I will just because I have already told you what modules and everything is used here. So now let's move to explaining this first module that is used in this project. This is TK tools. TK is a graphical user interface toolkit that provides a set of tools and widgets for creating graphical applications. It is commonly used with TCL scripting language, but it also has bindings for other programming languages such as Python, where it is known as TK Inter. TK provides a platform independent way to create and interact with graphical elements, making it suitable for platforms cross platform development. Basically, this because of this module, the UI that you have seen just now, that is the graphic GUI. Let me run the code again so that I can explain better. uh, Wait a minute. Sorry to see you go. Actually, four people were watching live, but now I'm seeing it's three. Anyways, the TK is a graphical user interface. Basically, because of these TK tools, you can watch this UI, this graphical UI, this UI. This is this whole UI, which is this color background and violet and all this colors and all. This is just because of the TK tools. First, because of using the TK tools, we are able to see this UI, this thing. Okay. So you can read this by pausing this stream. You can read, or if you are watching this after the live, then you can read this TK tools module. By the way, I forgot to say one thing in the beginning, that is after the end of this live session, I will later in the description below I will give the link to download this PPT so that you can watch the whole PPT and understand in your way. Anyways, TK has been widely used. Okay, basically as I have just told you that it is used for GUI development. The graphical user interface, the interface that you have seen just now, is just because of these TK tools. So here are some tools available for tkinter for Python, which you can see: TK top level, frame, button level, entry, checkout, blah blah blah. You can see this presentation later on, because later after the end of this live session I will give this in the link description, where you can download the PPT. Just wait a minute. Please wait a minute. Okay, I'm back again, and check something. Okay, I'm back again. So here we have you. This is all the available tools for TK tools, TK Inter for Python. Moving to the next slide. Now we have next we have used is the date time module. The date time module supplies for manipulating dates and times. Datetime modules come built into Python, so there is no need to install it externally. Python datetime module supplies classes to work with date and time. This class provide the number of functions to deal with dates, times, and time intervals. Basically, the time which was seeing in the GUI. I'm sure opening the GUI again. This time showing day is because of this datetime module. This time showing is because of this datetime module. And now this time frame here. So yeah, here's the main components functionalities offered by the datetime module, which is datetime class, date class, time delta class, formatting and parsing, then time zones, current date and time. So yeah, this is all about the datetime function. I mean datetime, explain all about the datetime library. Moving on to the next slide. Now comes this module. This is PyTest shuttle. I don't know properly that if I have used this module, although I have installed this module for this project, but I don't know whether I have used it or not. But as I have seen that I have installed this module, so let's discuss some about this module as well. Well, PyTest shuttle are two different PyTest and shuttle are two different modules in Python with distinct purposes. And here is the difference of these two modules and of the usage, which you can see. PyTest is a testing framework that simplifies the process of writing and executing tests in Python, while Shuttle, on the other hand, is a module in Python standard library that provides functions for file and directory operations. Basically, the directory operation, the for making directory or uh, basically making directory means making folder for this, that is the attendance folder which you have seen. It's because of this shuttle. It should be because of this shuttle, as you can see on this ppt. Next point is that PyTest provides set of powerful features and functionalities for writing test cases, asserting expected outcomes, and generating test reports. Shuttle, on the other hand, offers a set of high-level operations for copying, moving, and deleting files and directories. So yeah, now the next directories. This is all about how the features and the ability of these two modules, and different both are necessary for this for any project, but both works are different, which you can see. I wish it's written here. I mean, then comes PyTest. Then the next point comes the PyTest allows us to organize user tests in structured manner. Wait a minute, a sound pops up. Extremely sorry. Okay. Okay, so this is all about PyTest and Shuttle. Although I am not sure that is used or not. And in the last point, you can see that while PyTest is primarily used for testing purposes, Shuttle is focused on file and directory manipulation operation. Now comes the Python CSP library. Okay, CSV, as it is simply a type of file extension of which in Excel sheet, which is full form CSV is comma separated values. Python is Python is built-in CSV module provides functionalities for working with CSV files. It allows us to read from and write to CSV. Basically, it says that whatever data stored in the form of CSV that I have just shown you while showing the code execution, that is this file, it is just because of this CSV module, this file. Okay, so if you want to read it in details, you can read by pausing this video or stream, whatever you would like to say. Now comes the NumPy module. NumPy is a popular Python library for numerical computing. It provides powerful tools for working with large multidimensional arrays and matrices along with collection of mathematical functions to operate on this array efficiently. NumPy is widely used in scientific computing, data analysis, machine learning, and many other fields. Basically, the NumPy. Wait a minute. Let me connect with my team member. He can explain this NumPy module better than me. Meban, are you here? Hello. Can you explain this NumPy module? Actually, I can't explain it properly. Mm. Meban, wait a minute. There is some issues in my hardware because of which your audio is not heard by the viewers. Wait a minute. Can you repeat what you have said just now? Okay.
Yes, like am I audible?
Yes, yes. You are audible to me, but earlier it was not audible to audience.
So basically, yeah, we use NumPy in the project, right? Like in
Yes.
the, it's a Python library, so we use this so that we can work with numbers and arrays. As we can see that in the codes, right? We have to do some data regarding the roll, let's say roll number or like any data to write into our CSV file. So we have to perform operations based on that because there might be many number of students registering right in the app. So in order to map them out properly, so we use NumPy in this project.
Yeah. Thanks for the explanation. If you want to read
Yes,
this,
we
you can pause this live stream, or if you are watching it after the stream, then you can pause the video and read. By the way, I
yes,
will share the PPT later on after ending this live session. So now comes the pillow module. Pillow is powerful Python library for image processing and manipulation. It's a fork of the Python imaging library PIL and provides user-friendly interface for performing various operations on images, including opening, saving, resizing, cropping, filtering, enhancing, and more. Basically, wait a minute. Where is the folder? Okay. Basically, I have said you that this earlier that this images were cropped. This cropping and this all image functions is occurring because of this pillow module, right? Hello.
yes, yes,
Is it
Darshan, it's correct. It's correct.
is
Yes, it's just
yeah.
yes, Pilo just help for image resizing and like opening and saving. It's just a library that allows Python to save and crop images. As you can see that we have already mentioned in the slide.
Yes.
Yes, you can move on.
Here are some key features of this pillow library. You can read it, image manipulation, file formats, etc. Moving on to the next slide. Now comes pandas. Pandas is a popular, sorry, not popular. I am extremely sorry. Pandas is a powerful open source Python library widely used for data manipulation and analysis. It provides data structures and functions that make it easy to work with structured data such as tabular data, time series, and more. Pandas is built in on top of NumPy and it's a fundamental tool in the data science ecosystem. Uh, Basically, the Excel table is created because of this. Yeah, Excel table is created because of these pandas. Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
Basically, it's like that only. It's just calculate, statistics data, and it groups data. It helps in grouping data, and then it handles like maybe if there's some missing values and this and that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's just like it's very convenient if we use this library in Python because we can analyze data and manipulate it.
yeah.
Yeah, you can move on.
So here are the some key features of these pandas which you can read. Now coming to the most really it is the last module. Now coming to the time module in Python. Time module. Time module is in Python is a standard library module that provides functions for working with time related tasks. The time module allows you to access various time related information, measures elapsed time, pause or delay execution, convert between different time representation. Uh, this module is quite similar to I mean it's very close to date time module, but there is a difference. There should be a difference between these two modules. Mevan, can you explain the difference, because maybe the audience get confused between these two modules as its the name is quite similar. Hello, hello, are you there?
Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, now you are
Yes,
audible.
there's some issue. There's some issue with the mic.
Okay, okay. uh,
Okay. Yes.
can you explain
Can you
the
please repeat?
I have just said about this time module, but I want you to say the difference between time module and the date time module. Is there any difference?
Yes, there's just a slight difference. Basically, it's the same. So here both provides like like the time provides data only like with the daytime it even provides data for the date as well as for the time. They have just a slight difference based on the usage. So the time here focus like on manipulating time values, like it has many functions. It can like receive the current time, then it has even a sleep function, then it can even it has the you can use even the string format times in order to format the times and convert it into a readable time, like hours, minutes, seconds, something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
whereas
yeah,
datetime module, it deals both with datetime. It's basically the same. It's just that here you get the feature of representing a date as well. The date information you can display,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and yeah, that's about it. And then like you can even perform some data manipulation based on that if you wanted to edit dates and whatnot. So yeah, time module, it's just focus on that like values, seconds, minutes, those
Mhm.
type of things. And
Yeah,
then date time, it's just for like you can work together with the time and with the date also. That's the only difference. Like in the time, when you use time, you can use many inbuilt functions, whereas
yes,
date time
yes.
you can even use dates as well, and their inbuilt function of dates. Yes,
Basically, because of this time module, let me show the GUI again. Uh, oh, the GUI crashes because of some reason. Okay. Because of the time module, the current time is showing in this way. If I am not wrong, is it because of time module?
yes, yes, it's because of the time.
Yes, as you can see in the slide, it was written that in the current time. So the current time is displayed because of this time module. This current time, which you can see, it's displayed just because of the time module. Okay, so I'm now moving to the next slide. Now comes the explanation of the code of the project phase recognition based attendance monitoring system. This was the earlier I have explained all the modules, libraries, and the algorithm used in the project. I mean, we have explained. Now it's time to explain the code. So basically, this is the source code. I will provide the source code as well as the PPT in the description later on. So Mayban, now continue to explain the code.
Yes, Darshan, you can explain for the first part of the line, right? I will explain for the function.
Basically, the first part is importing all the modules that are necessary for this project, like this TK inter as TK inter as TTK. From basically the first line 2, that is the first module. Import is importing the TK inter, and this is the sub part of this second third line is the sub part of the second line, and so as follows. The fourth is also the where is the pointer? Fourth is also the sub part of the second line, and the import tk inter simply simple dialog as tst. If I am not wrong, basically the dialog messages that are shown in while doing some wrong input. I mean that just have just shown that if you enter wrong password, please say wrong password, and all these dialogues showing is because of this part. Import tk enter simple dialog as tst. Uh, Imports cv2 os. Basically the cv2 os. Cv2 is basically the open cv. Like, oh, I'm extremely sorry, guys, because I have forgot to say right in this slide. I have forgot to mention about the OpenCV contrib Python. Uh, Meban, can you do some small explanation this about this CV2 module, or better to say OpenCV contrib Python module? I have forgot to enter, and we have checked many times, but we just forgot to mention the that module in our PPT. But
Yes, okay.
that is also important for this project.
So in just like in simple words, OpenCV, it's just a library, right? That helps the computer like to process images and videos. So basically, it's just allowing to read and write images, and we can like apply filters, right? Like as we have used in the project where we converted the image into gray color codes. Yeah, so basically, it helps for that purposes.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for explaining the CSV module by contributor module. In later, I will add the module in the PPT. So don't worry. While you will get a refreshed one, not this one. I will later add. Isn't it? We should add the module also.
Yes, yes, Darshan. Uh, so basically, line number one to line number 12, basically, we're just importing those libraries which Darshan has already explained in the previous videos. And then basically from the line number 16 to line number 20, basically, this is a function. So the function name is assure path exists. So we passed in one parameter here as parts. So this is basically it takes in a string where you pass in the maybe the folder directory, the path, the location, right? So basically, we have a in the line number 17 we have a value variable. So we scan that part, right? Like we check the directory name and then we pass in the dir variable, and after that we on line number 18 we check if that particular folder name or path something like that exists or not. If it does not exist, then it starts creating if But if it exists, it does not create. But if it does not exist, then it starts creating here in line number 19. That's all about the assure part exists. Now moving on to the line number 23 to number 26. This is a tick function here. So basically, like Darshan have already explained about the time module. So basically, we're converting the time into a format of hours, minutes, and seconds using the strf time. This is a function, inbuilt function of the time module. And here we have configured a clock in order to display the data, as a GUI format in a GUI format. And then here we have on line number 26 we have clock dot after 200 comma tick. So basically this is basically to updates the data, like render the data after every 200 milliseconds. It will keep on refreshing so that you can see the seconds move, like the seconds, right? The, as you can see in the project, that the seconds keeps incrementing, something like that. Yeah. So
Maybe wait a minute. Let me show this in the GUI also so that they can understand what exactly happening. Right.
yes, yes, you can show them.
Uh, Basically the time is updating this. You can see that if every 200 milliseconds is very small value, so you can't exactly measure manually. So every 200 millisecond the time is updating because of that tick function that Meban has just said. uh, if we Isn't it?
Yes, yes, you are right, Darshan.
Okay, now Meban continue. Oh, this is not
Yes,
easy.
basically for this we can move on to the next slide. I believe this now we will talk about the check
Hardcast.
har cascade, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
basically it's a function. So in this check har cascade file, we basically check whether the file that har cascade which we have imported from GitHub, whether that file exists or not in your project. So because we need that file, as because Darshan have already explained what Haar Cascade does, so we need that for our project if in order to detect the face of a person. So there are many different kinds of Haar Cascade where you can use there is of eyes and lips and whatnot. Right, Darshan?
Yes, yes. Should
So
I show the files again? Wait a
you
minute.
can show from the GitHub. So there
Yes,
are
yes.
many
You can
different
see
kinds of
there are
Haar
many hard cascade files available in GitHub. I can't say the exact number because there are too many, right?
Yes, you can use these different Haar cascade file for different various project purposes. So basically, we're using the face detection, that is identifying a person's face here in this
Yes,
project. So you
yes,
can move
yes,
on to the slide, Darshan.
yes. In fact, later we are also trying to implement eye recognition. I will. It is our future planning. This hard cascade. That time will use hard cascade IE.xml, right? If we use eye recognition means project.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay. So coming to the slide.
Yes, so basically on line number 39 till 41, it just checks if the file exists or not. If it does not exist, then it will show display you a message. It'll prompt a message saying that the file is missing, and then the GUI window will destroy. There's this slight pop-up window where it displays this particular messages, so it destroys that window. So now moving on to the save password. Here in this function, I believe Darshan, you are going to explain, right, for the save
Yes.
password. Yes,
This
please
is
continue.
save password is basically this using this function that I have while executing the code. I You have seen that I was typing password and saving the file. Basically, it is required for registering new file, and it is then password protected. And the save password is because of that purpose only. And the password is stored in txt file which is named as pst.txt. And oh, sorry, I am moving
Yes.
so rapidly. Extremely. Actually, I mistakenly scrolls the mouse and the slide is going. Which was I explaining this slide? Yeah, explain.
Yes, so you got a brief idea of this function. Basically, it just checks that txt file, and you can it just like checks the the password
Password,
whether it
password.
matches or not with the file. Darshan, I believe you can show the file in your project where is the text store.
Yes, yes. Basically, the
Yes,
text is stored in this training image label. This is the psd.txt file, and here you can see this is the password.
password. Yes, you can basically edit this password also name. And in the later project, maybe if you wanted the password to be more encrypted, right? Because it's basically plain text, so anyone can steal the password. So you have to encrypt this into, let's say, MD5 or SHA, something like that.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
basically, on the later advanced project, we can make these functionalities.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Please continue.
And later in advanced way, we have to use one more thing so that it can this project works properly even in low light conditions, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, when we see this, okay, so this the whole function from line 45 uh, to this to up to 70, no, not 72, to up to 60, it takes the new password. And from line 61, it's basically no, no, I am wrong, extremely sorry. From 45 to 55, this is the this from part is basically from checks the password, existing password, and if you want to change the password, then that function is in this portion. I am weak in expression.
Yes, yes, you are right, Harshan. And then from line number 61 onwards, it's basically for getting the old password or the new password depending on your preferences. And then line 64 onwards is basically comparing the key. If it
Yes, yes,
is if the old password matches with the new password, then it will write a new password. Otherwise, you have to retype the password. That's all. Line up to the line number 72. You can move on to the next slide.
yes. So as I have just showed, the change pass, you can change the password, and that changing you can do it because of this function def change pass, isn't it?
Yes, yes. This is very understandable if you just have a look at it. It's basically it prompts a new window GUI because we have used the master is equal to tk.tk here in this line number 81, and then basically it prompts a title there, change password, so you can enter your old password and then make a new password on line number 93 onwards. So that's basically it. So yeah, that's about it. You can move on to the next slide.
Yeah, this is also the function for the same password only.
Yes, so basically this function here, first it checks if the training image label folder exists or not. If it exists, then you can store your password in this particular folder. So basically it's just a way of storing your password file into a folder. So as we have shown on the previous video that the password is stored in a text format. So that's about it.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. And then this comes this def in the line 134, def clear,
Yes,
then clear 2.
clear. So basically that's a function there to clear our input fields as we have seen like on our on those fields where we have to enter our name. Darshan, can you show the project?
Yes, yes, I'm showing that only I'm showing.
Yes, so it's a function here where
Wait a
when we
minute.
click on the clear button, so it like it deletes the employee ID entry and the even the roll number.
I'm running
And
the code again, then Meban can explain exactly what's
yes, yes,
happening
yes,
because of,
yes,
yeah, these
yes.
two
So as
clear
you
buttons are because of that
yes,
function.
yes, basically it's just clearing the text.
I'm just showing
So
also.
yes, can you just demonstrate? Yes.
I'm just typing some random words.
So basically our ID here is the roll number and name here is the person's name. So yeah.
Now, if you press in this clear, you can see this clear. It clears the. I mean, it deletes the name and ID in one click.
Yes, because of that argument we passed in as zero.
Yes,
Right, Darshan?
yes, yes, yes,
Yes, please go on to the next slide.
yes. Take images. This take images function is used for taking the new
Yes.
registration.
Yes, taking new registration when the user click on the take images button in the GUI, right? So basically it captures images from the camera using that CV2, remember, library, and then it checks first whether Haar cascade exists or not. We need Haar cascade here. So if the Haar cascade exists, so in line number 171, you can see that we take in the data here as Haar cascades. And in the line number 170, you can see that cv2.video capture. We pass an argument as zero. This is basically to
Open the
trigger a
camera.
camera, open the camera. Yes, exactly. In some systems, you have to pass in as one in order to open the CV2 camera. So here we took in that file 171, in the line 171, we took in the Haar cascade file and we store it in a variable name Haar cascade path so that we can use this file, and then we open a detector here. So we use this Haar cascade file in line number 172 to open, to use the camera which had been opened and use a cascade classifier. Why? Because in order to, like map the Haar cascade feature so that it will be able to detect a person's face, right?
Yes, yes,
That it will know that it's a person or not, or if it's an object. So basically that's about it. And then here sample number is equal to zero is basically to keep count, to start your count from zero images. So basically in the later portion of the code we can see that there'll be an argument that will stop up to 100 images, where the video camera will stop up to 100 images, something
yes,
like that.
yes.
So
You
basically
are
we
right.
have,
Even in the time of code execution, I have shown you that it takes 100 images black, and and because of this BRG to gray part, the images is stored in grayscale formats, not formats, in
yes,
grayscale. And that feature about not feature this CV2 video capture this number basically it depends whether you are using it on laptop and you are using integrated camera or dedicated camera. Based on that the value might changes, but for this project it was we haven't changed the code even in laptop or desktop. It for this project it was working absolutely fine even with this default value, isn't it?
yes. So yeah, that's about it. And on line number 174 here we check whether the camera is open or not. So it's checking whether the camera is reading or not. Here we have two variables, as you can see, ret comma img. So basically it's for checking, one is for checking whether the camera is active, one is for basically scanning images, because you need the camera to be active and a rectangular field box will appear. So basically that's why we need to argument here. And on line 176 here we are converting the uh, it's a inbuilt function of a CV2 here, where we convert our, you know, RGB color to gray. So
Yes,
basically
yes,
it's a color converter. So because we need to map out each and every segments pixels, right?
yes, yes,
So
yes.
on line number 177, here we can see that our detector multi-scale, we have taken that color as a first argument. The second, it's the layer, the thickness layer, and the speed, right, Darshan?
Wait a minute. I'm getting some acidity problem. Okay, now I'm fine. Yeah, yeah. What Meban had just said, it is. Wait a minute. Can you repeat what you have just now said?
After the color is converted to gray, it just uses a multi-scale, right, in order to map out the pixels gray color into a 1.3 scale. It's a scaling factor on
Yes,
this line
yes,
number 177. Yes. And then on the line number 178 here, we need the x-axis, y-axis, the width and the height. So basically, we need to calculate these data in phases. We can move on to the next slide.
yes.
Yes, so basically here, after in line number after 178 and line number 179, we have argument, the first argument, which is the image which the camera is processing. The secondly, we will take the x and y axis in order to map out the x-axis, and we have plus with the width, and the y-axis we have plot with the height. So in order to get the total face structure, the size, right, Darshan? And then
Yes,
here
yes, yes.
the 255 comma 0 comma 0, here is the color code for your rectangle. As you can see that if Darshan runs the project, he can see that the rectangular, it's either in green color or red color. You can specify your own values here. And comma 2, it's the width, the fatness, the thickness of the rectangle.
Let me run the code so that you can say exactly what's happening here.
Yes.
As I have already registered, so I'm just simply clicking on take attendance because the function is something like a minute. Okay, this
Yes, as you can see that the rectangular box appear, and that height and width is basically of this, so that the function knows that up to how much distance the size of the face is, something like that. It will map out the total face size. And the 255 comma 0 comma 0 is this blue color code. Here in this project you can specify your own color code. It's basically an RGB format. And the comma 2 at the end of the code, if you check, it's basically the thickness of this rectangular line. If you specify comma 5 comma 6, you will notice that this thickness rectangle shape will get more thicker, something like that. Yes, that's about it. Yes, Darshan, you can move on.
oh, I thought you just left. Anyways, okay, train images. What I just did. Okay.
Yes, so basically there on line number 183, as you can see, line number 181, at the first run, as you remember that on the previous quote, we have given the sample number as 0, and now we will start incrementing by ones, because as the image starts capturing on that rectangular field box, so it will start incrementing the number. So this thing will keep going on once it reach 100. So basically on line number 183, after scanning the first phase of the images, it will store in this. It will use the function I am right here. Basically it's writing the images. It's a function of a CV2 of OpenCV. It will write the function that images. It will store inside that training image folder here, and then plus the name which you have specified in the GUI, and then separated by a dots. And then here we have specified the serial number. So basically it's mapping out based on serially, so that you can write data in the correct format right inside the CSV. And after that you have given your ID here, which is basically your roll number. And then here you have given a sample number. Basically it's a count of your number of images. So this sample number, if you notice, like if you have noticed on the project, uh, these number changes right up to 100 images depending on your values given for this project.
Yes,
So
yes.
store this extension as JPG because overall it's a image, right? So that's about it. And on line number 186 here, we are just displaying a messages that the your picture is being taken as you have seen on the project. It's just prompting a message. So here on line number 188 here is basically either wait where the image had captured perfectly and then it's going to stop. Otherwise you can basically press on the Q buttons in order to quit the camera. So either you wait or you quit, it depends on you. And then here, uh, as you can see, 0xff, it's a hexa code. Basically it's a code for understanding, telling Python that it's used for quitting the camera. It's basically that. Okay, and then moving on to line number 191, as you can see, this is where our sample images breaks here once the images has been taken up to 100 times, right, Darshan?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, you can change the value here. You can give 200 or 25 depending on your choice. So that's about it. But the greater the number of images, the better
Will be the
recognition can take.
accuracy, basically.
Yeah, better accuracy. Yes, yes. And then moving on to 193, basically you're closing your camera, you're releasing your video capture camera, you're closing all the windows. That's about it. And
Yeah,
then now, Haar,
if you wait a minute, where the number is in this part you have said just now, right? This 191, the 100
yes, on yes,
is
that's done.
higher the number,
So
the better is the accuracy. But there, if you want better accuracy, then obviously it will take more time also.
yes, yes. Okay, moving on to the next line. I've already said that on line number 193 and 194 is just closing the camera and it's just closing the GUI of that particular image, right? And then on the line number 195 here we have just prompting a message where images has been taken for this particular roll number. And then on line number 196 here we have specified a row where is serial number, a roll number and name. So basically serial number here is your particular number. Let's say a person before you have already taken an uh, registered an image, something like that. So you're basically on number 2 or number 3 depending on you know your position
Yes,
that
yes,
you
absolutely
have
right.
registered in the project. And basically your ID here is your roll number and your name. So basically this is just to map out the formats. It's just to keep track of this data inside your CSV. So you want to write this data, right, this row. In order to write this data inside your CSV, we have used here an open commands. It's a function. So basically you're writing data inside student details folder and then you have map out and inside the student details.csv, and you have used an append mode here, a plus. It's an append mode where you can read and write data as CSV file. So here we are just writing basically this raw data inside a CSV file, right, Darshan?
Yes,
And
yes,
after
yes.
writing, you're closing the file, and then basically you will prompt a message where data is written successfully, something like that, in line number 201. So on line number 202, it's basically if there's an issue like maybe in your GUI you entered a space in your name or something like that, then an error will prompt like maybe enter your correct name or something like that. Or maybe if you leave your input text field blank, then you cannot save your
Yes,
project, right,
yes,
Darshan?
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
I'm
Darshan, would you
showing.
like to show a demonstration on
Yes,
how
yes,
this
yes,
error would occur?
yes, absolutely. Oh, sorry, I am mistakenly opened the PPT. Like, for example, if you left any of the space blank, uh, I'm typing a random ID and you left the space blank, then see what happens. No, this one. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you can see that it is showing enter correct name in this because I have left the space blank. And if I enter space, no.
As you can see that there's a message written there, enter correct name. So in
Basically,
the
you
at
have
the bottom of
to
the zip profile.
write something in this name portion so that to avoid this error. Even if you
Yes, yes,
write space, keep space, then also the space will be taken as a name. So we need to update the code later on so that even this can be avoided, right?
yes, yes.
Because space can't be a name. It's same as without typing anything.
You can move on to the next slide.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. So in this hard cascade. By the way, before moving to the next slide, that line number 209 starts about the explanation on the next slide also, right? It basically checks.
Yes, yes. Basically, this is for training the images which you have already captured. So first you check your Haar cascade file whether it exists or not, and then if it exists, then it will continue. And on the line number 211, it's basically checking for a folder training image label whether it exists or not. So if it does not exist, it will create the folder. It's basically a function which we have already predefined on the previous line of codes. And on the line number 212, here we are creating a LBPH face recognizer. So basically this is an algorithm where it will try to identify each and every image uniquely. So that so basically the difference between this and Haar cascade is that Haar cascade is just for detecting an object, like your face or
Yes,
plants or something like that. So but here LBPH algorithm is a algorithm where it will try to find out a patterns, the difference between your face and another person's face. It's basically performing operation based on that.
yes.
So
Basically, it's
that's about that. So
performing the feature part means the features of your face, and it differentiates between your face and some other people's face. So that occurs because of this LPBH face recognizer algorithm. To some extent, it is, you can say that this is sub algorithm of this one, right?
yes, yes.
In
So
this
moving
case it
on.
is used this way. Yeah, moving on to next slide. Yeah.
Okay, so here as you can see that since our Haar cascade part exists, so we are taking that Haar cascade XML file and we pass it inside a Haar cascade parts variable, right? So we are using a detector here where we will use a cascade classifier in order to use this Haar cascade file, and then we will start mapping out, like it will start making a detection based on that. And then here we pass in two arguments. One is basically for your faces and the second one is for your roll number. So basically we're getting that image, this get image unlabeled. It's a function. As you can see, it starts from line number 228. So basically here I will explain the 228 line first, since it's inside that function. And then here in this function, basically you're taking a paths a directory in order to find out that location, the folder location. And then here you are basically on line number 230, you are joining the paths, you know
Yes,
you're
yes.
joining the path with a directory. And then basically on line number 232 and 234, you're creating a faces and IDs in an array format. Since there might be multiple phases, there are many number of faces or roll number, so basically you have to put them in an array string. Here where you are using, then on line number 236, you are using for in loop. So basically you will keep on looping till the condition is satisfied. And then you're opening an image and you're converting them into grayscale. As you can see, since we're using a PIL image, right? Since we're using
Yes, yes,
image dot
yes.
open, that's why we have convert it using grayscale, and the code for that is L. But whereas as we have seen on the other previous codes, where when we convert using a CV2, we are using a another function, right? So basically it varies from function to function depending on your library. So basically after that, on line number 240, you're mapping out using a numpy here, and p.array. It's a numpy, as we have mentioned, Darshan has mentioned, that it's used for array mapping. So you're mapping each and every images here. Okay, and then basically, yeah, that's about it. After mapping each and every images, you store them into an image np, and then you are trying. And on line number 242, basically you need to store the value, the number of that particular roll number, right, of that person's. So in order to get that, so you are splitting this image like after dots, like maybe, after your name, then comes the serial number, then comes the roll number, then comes the number of sample images. So basically you're splitting that into a roll number in order to fetch the roll number of the particular images. Darshan, can you show that image
Yes,
sample?
yes, grayscale images, right?
Yes, yes, that images where we get the roll number from.
Yes.
Yes, so here we can see that his roll number is 2. So after his name, there comes a serial number, since he's the second registering form. And after that 2, as you can see,
No, 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 no,
his
no, no,
roll
no.
number
There is
is
a
2.
small catch. There is a small catch. Name. You can see that there is no name here displayed. It is just because when I was taking the small second time I was registering, I have given space, and for that's
Yes, yes,
why.
don't worry about that. I think everyone have
Yes,
noticed
yes,
about that. So
yes.
basically it's just after your name and after your serial number, then after one, as you can see there, dash dot one. So basically that one is your serial number. So dot one, so there in the middle portion, right? So that's your roll number. So basically it's fetching. So this line of code number 42 is basically getting that particular number to store as your roll number. So it's extracting data, you can say, from an images. So yeah, basically that's it. We have used a split here so that it will remove those dots. You append the faces and images, inside these, and then you just return these faces images back to the function and line number 215. So basically it does that. And then after getting these data, you will get these particular return statements here inside line number 215, and there you have map out those data, and then now you will start to try to train those particular images. So basically it keeps on mapping one after the other, and then here you use on line number 217, you start training these images and your particular id number in order to keep track of that particular person's, like your images id, something like that, your based on your roll
Yes,
number.
yes, yes, yes.
And then after that it will start to train, and it will train, as you can see on line number, it will train your images, and after training it will save inside the training image label, and it will save in the yml format. Okay, so it basically stores your lbph algorithm data inside a yml format.
Yes.
So yeah, if there's an error, then maybe it will display error in the line number 219 and 220, right? That there's no registering. Maybe
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
If
register. Yes,
if we haven't registered any faces, or any better to say any person, and if you see the registration count is 0, and that time it should show this error, which.
yes. Basically, okay. And this YML, if you're asking what's YML, is basically a markup language. It's like, it's not a markup language, so it's basically human readable data. Like you can read it, and then serial, you can format it, serialization, something like that.
It's stored in training image level folder. This is
Yes,
the
yes,
trainer YML file.
yes. It's just stored the train model. It's just stored the train model of the face recognition. How did we train the model? We trained the model using the lbph algorithm.
Yes,
So that's basically it. You can read the documentation. There's plenty documentation out there. And
yes.
then After that, it just prompts a message here. res here is a variable. We are just printing the string here, profile saved successfully, just to prompt, in the GUI whether the data is saved correctly or not. And then after that, we are just showing the total count here, total registering till now, basically your string and then your ID here, right? So basically it's your, maybe your particular total number of registration out there, it's just printing that there, right, Darshan?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, so basically that's done. So moving on to the next function, we have a get image and label here. So here also we are taking part here as an argument, so that it will, it'll find a folders directory or something like that. And then we have an image part here where we will join the current parts here. I believe that this line I've already explained in the previous, you know, in this particular line. So basically that's done, I guess. Here it maps into arrays, and then yeah, you convert the grayscale, and then you perform some array data using numpy. I've explained previously. We can move on to the next slide.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, on track images here, basically, first of all, we need to check if the Haar cascade file. So basically, this function, right, is for taking attendance. It's basically comparing your images with the registered image data that we have saved. Remember that training.yml is
Yes, yes.
basically comparing that data with your new data. So basically, it's comparing two persons. So it's like a face ID. If your picture matches, then it's unlocked, something like that. Yeah. So so first here we are checking if our cascade file is there or not, since we need it for, for detection of faces. And then secondly, we have checked whether the attendance and student details folders exist or not. If they do not, in the first case it will not exist, so it will create by itself. But on the second case, it's already present, so it will not create again. So here on the 254 lines, we can see that it will try to get each and every children of that, of that particular data. It's basically like running, it's like searching, scanning each and every uh, data file, something like that. And then basically we're setting the message as an empty string here, and we need I and j value because we need to print these in that column folder, right, in the GUI.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
here we have a recognizer where we use the LBPH recognizer here. This is that algorithm, remember, that we have saved. So basically here, this line on 260, we are getting that data which we have trained, remember, where we have registered those faces which we have identified uniquely. So we are getting that data, and then we are reading that data here on line number 262. After reading that data, if it exists, then it will continue. If it does not exist, then the GUI will close, as you can see on line number 263 and 264 and 265, because of this return statement. Otherwise it will keep continuing. So on line number 266 here, we are just just taking the XML data that for face detection, and then we are putting here inside a variable, and then we're using this variable, and we are mapping out using OpenCV, and we're using a cascade classifier function here in order to, detect the face and identify the facial structure uniquely, something like that. And then here we are opening a camera on line number 269 to 70. We're basically opening your camera, and then here font is basically here on line number 270 is just a font here. So basically there's so many types of fonts out there, like it's just for, styling your uh like maybe styling your text, something like that, string, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So you can modify this also, you can even remove this also. It's not really important, it's just a style text. So 271 here, it's a column name here. We need to write this data right inside a student details folder. If you have noticed, we have to write our row number, then a name, then date, and then time. So because we are giving four input fields, right, inside CSV data, since it's a student attendance taking system. If it's other kind of projects, maybe you can add more, more string format arguments there, maybe like a checkout, check-in, something like that also for later modifications. And then here we are just checking whether this folder exists or not. We are rechecking the folder which we have already created, and on the first case it will not exist, so it will create by itself. But if it exists, it will read this. After reading this student details.csv folder, it will try to map out those values, like if it exists, if your face matches with the registered face, and it will start mapping out the data inside the csv. So basically that's about it. And here on line number 280, we're just we're just performing operations on the camera here, where it will open your images and your rectangle camera, as I've explained, mentioned on that train images function. So that's about it. The same, we can move on to the next slide.
Okay. Yeah.
So here on this slides, as you can see, we are just converting back again to gray, right? We're converting your images. Okay, this is not your training images. This is your track images. So basically, you're converting your real-time data, your real-time image data into a gray color, and then after that, then you will try to cascade this. You will cascade your faces on line number 283. You will cascade your faces, and then you will pass in the parameter of this gray color, and then the scale type, and then after that you will try to map out the x and y axis with the width and height in order to to take the proper size of your face. That's about it. And then here on this line number 287, you're just basically checking for the perfect, like
What? Hello?
yes. So basically,
Hello? 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 Are you facing any issues with your
hello,
mic?
hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So basically on this date time on line number 280.
You got muted again. You are not audible now. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Darshan, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There's some issue with the mic, I guess. So basically this is a date time format. So you're taking the date time on line number 290. Okay. So you're just taking your date and your time basically in order to map. So basically, as you can see on the GUI, we have Darshan have already showed there's a date and time, right? So basically, if you take an attendance, let's say at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. whatever, so basically it takes that local system time and it starts storing that data inside this value, date and timestamp. So date is for maybe today or tomorrow, something like that, and time is basically for the current time, where like it's morning or night depending on your class session, something like that. And then here we are just mapping out AA, ID. As you can see, there's so many stuffs here going on. So basically this is just in simple terms, this is basically just locating your locating the file, like first printing the, it will just locate, this is a data frame, I guess it's a panda features here. So we're just mapping out a serial number, and then we're just comparing it with values, and then we're just like printing these data inside your excel sheet. It's just basically mapping out, as you can see on line number 297. We're just printing your roll number, then your serial number with the name, and then your date and time. So basically that's handles just the string format here. LOC here is just the location, just to map out the location for these particular strings. And then after that, if maybe like there's an issue, an error, then here we can show that ID is unknown, something like that. Maybe roll number is unknown, or maybe there's a faulty data or something like that. And then after that, as you can see that here on line number 302 onwards till line number 306, basically is just like taking the attendance, like the camera is on, and then it starts printing that message, small message showing that the attendance is being taken, and then stuff like that. Then it will keep on scanning, right, until the face
Yes.
matches.
Yes. Yes.
If it
Yes.
yeah, then if it matches, then the camera will stop. If otherwise, you can just quit the camera by pressing on the Q key on the keyboard, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's about it. And here we can see that TS is equal to time dot time. So basically here we're just taking time, the time data here. We're just taking time and date data here. We are converting them first into a string format, right? And then we're just passing those data inside these variables, and then after that we are just trying to write these data right inside attendance 309 if it exists or not here on line number 309, 310, so on. We're just writing these data inside the attendance folder. And as you can see here closely on line number 310, attendance slash attendance underscore, here we're printing with the current date plus date. So basically we'll just suppose like today it's the 16, right? So it'll print there 16, something like that, so that you will identify each and every attendance uniquely. You can even take the attendance for tomorrow, so it will write the date for tomorrow 18. So that's why we have given an underscore here followed by a date, and then the .csv format,
Uh,
because we need
I
to
am
store it.
showing you also that folder where
Yes. Yes. And as you can see that we have given a plus a there, so a plus I
see.
mean, so basically it's an append mode for read and write data. Yeah, as you can see, Darshan here have shown that the date is 16 0 followed by 07 to 2023, and then .csv. This is that extension, and then a here is just for reading and writing mode in Python. So basically that's it. And then we are just writing this data here. Writer is equal to writer, we are passing this data as CSV file 1. So CSV file 1 is something which we have passed in here, right? As you can see on line number 310, it's writing this data inside this format. And then basically it's a very simple thing to understand here, I guess. 312 here also we're just writing each and every row. So this right row here is a function where it will maps out each and every data in row format, right, Darshan?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, and then after that, after like writing data, it will close this file. So basically, we're closing this file on line number 313. So after that, maybe let's suppose your data does not already exist. So it will start creating a new data from line number 314. Let's say your attendance folder does not exist, so it will start creating a new one. So basically that's it. Or maybe if the date and time does not matches, like maybe you're taking attendance for
Yes.
tomorrow,
Yes.
so it create a new one. That's for the code, for that particular code. You can move on to the next slide. Yeah, so that's about it, which I've explained up to line number 219. So on line number 320, as you can see, this is basically for, let's say the person is taking attendance for today again, some other registered person is taking the attendance. So this is that line where it will open your your existing attendance data for the particular date, because the date is the same. If like you're not taking the attendance for the next day or something like that, there's already an existing data, so it's opening that. After opening that data, here you're in this line number 322 up to 326. This is a very basic function here, okay, like it's very basic code here. So basically here it's just looping, okay, it's just looping based on your current index, like on which line you are, on which, like, if Darshan opens the student CSV file, you can see that maybe he is registered, some other person is registered. It's just iterating through those loops, and then in order to print out your line, to print out your CSV file line there, something like that. It's just for mapping, right, Darshan?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. And then we're just inserting here, as you can see, tv.insert here. We're just inserting those values into line number 0, 1, 2. It's basically reading all the data, and then it maps out all those person data inside this line on this tree view, I believe, something like that. And then it maps out on the array index 246. Be 246 because like you need a space in tree, you need a space, you need one space, right? So that's why you map out in 2, 4, and 6. You can map out in, let's say, 4, 8, and 12 also, something like that. And here zero basically it's just the column. These are basically like in that GUI you can see the column. It's basically like just making a root element. It's like a root element inside a column. So it will start from a root element, and then text is equal to ID. Here is just basically printing the serial number of the particular ID, that it starts from line number 0 and so on, and 1 2 3, something like that. Darshan, can you just show the GUI so that they will understand more clearly?
Yes, yes, I'm showing. Where is? Yes,
Yes, so you can see that on the attendance there is a column, right? So basically that's about it. It just read to student data and then maps it here. And then root 0, it starts from the left side of the ID, the leftmost side, left uppermost side. So that's the root element. And then when you, let's say you take attendance, right, your data will display inside here. So basically that's about it, just for mapping here. 246 is basically the spaces here for name, date and time, something like that. Okay, you can read more about it in the PPT which we have mentioned, right, Darshan?
yes, yes, yes.
Yes, we can move on to the next slide.
Oh,
Okay, so now we will start with this one. These are just the GUI. Okay. Oh wait, before this, can you go to the previous slide?
yeah, yeah. The month part you have
Yeah,
mentioned.
one part. Yes. So basically, global key here. This is just for password. This is Darshan, which you have explained already. So I will just explain this date and time here. Date and time also here. I believe Darshan have already explained. It's very simple to understand. So basically here on line number 339, we're just splitting. Okay, like after date, month and year. So we basically we're putting a dash, as you can see on the GUI. There's a dash, right? So basically that's about it. And here month we're using like it's like an object format where we're mapping. Suppose if the if in order to display, so if like your date shows 07, you will even print out with a string. So basically it's just putting the string. So if it's like 06, it will display 06 with June. As you can see on the GUI which we have showed earlier, that there's a correct date and time format. It's basically because of this. If you don't give this string in the, if you remove the string or something like that, you will not be able to see the current, like your your current date here, something like that. If you remove this, you will not be able to see your date. So basically it's that. You can move on to the next slide. Yeah, so now we will talk about the GUI here. So we're done with all the functions and what are necessities and all that stuff for the projects. Now we will just talk about the GUI, those basically, the boxes and whatnot. So here we're using Tinker in order to, make a GUI for Python, and then inside Python. And then here we're using a window here. Window here is a variable, so we're using Tinker here, pass it out to a window, and then we are using a geometry size here. So basically this is the screen size. So Darshan, can you explain more about this geometry size, screen size?
Basically, it's to some extent you can say it's a resolution of the overall size.
Yes.
And to
Yes, exactly.
1280 by 720, if you increase the values, then in the length and width of the this
Yes, yes.
it will increase.
Yes.
But I would say suggest that keep the project like these values only, because it depends on the monitor which you are using. That it is HD monitor, then it will be something like 1366 into 768p, 768 resolution, then also it will work. And if even if it's a full HD monitor, then also no issue, it will work absolutely fine.
Yes,
For
yes,
example,
exactly.
the my monitor, which where you have seen the project, this is HD. I mean 768p monitor. That's why it's showing almost at full screen. But if I show you in my laptop, then you will find that it will not show in not to that extent because it's full HD laptop. And that's all about this. Oh, that's all about this geometry part. This line 358. This is basically, if I say in better way, let me run the code. This is basically this size of this thing, this whole thing.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, with Harshan, I think they have understood.
Yeah.
So we can move on to the next line of codes.
Yes.
Yes, so after that, as you can see, we have a windows dot resizable true and false. So this is basically for, you know, uh, to have that feature where you can resize and maximize, minimize those kind of things, right, Darshan?
Yes.
You can
Yes.
read more
Yes.
about it in the PPT where we have mentioned these things in detail. It's just basically to maximize and minimize to have that ability, you can say. So yeah, after that you can see we have windows.title. This is basically just to display the title and the GUI like attendance system. You can give any name, maybe your project college name, something like that. And then on line number 361 here we're just mapping out the color of the GUI. Here it takes in a hexadecimal code color. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah,
Hex code,
that's
which
about it.
is in short,
If
it
you
is
give
shown known as hex code, hex color
yes yes
code.
yes okay, and then after that you can see that frames of frame one, two, three, and so on. No, there's so many frames. So this is basically, you're just making portions like fragments, like portions and like components, stuffs like that
Yes.
inside your one window. So basically, in your one particular GUI, as you can see in the project, we have attendance column separately, an input field separately, a button separately. So this is basically that. So first here we are mapping your window. Here it takes in parameter, as you can see, tk.frame. So basically it's creating a frame and then you pass in window, which we have already created here, right? Window. And then after that we given a background color. As you can see that in the project there's different components have different colors, right? So basically it's that. And then here place, so where you wanted to place that particular frame, so you have to place space here. So basically here you're pressing in the relative x and y axis. This is basically your mapping in points, like if you have done graphing, something like that. So you're just placing those values here and what will be the width and height of that window and where you want it to place. So I hope you understand. So instead of relx, you can just give x also. X is equal to maybe 13, 14, something like that, where we have used in the previous, quotes and whatnot. And here rel width and height also you can just specify as width and height, but you have to give it a
Mayban, I want to ask a small question because even I am having that doubt. Basically, I want to ask, here we have specified the background color, right?
yes, that is for
In
your
see
main
in
window.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of a single color, can we add image? Is it possible? Because one
Yes, it
code
it might be possible. Yes, it might be possible, but we have to use more lines of codes there. We have to
more
pass in
like
more functions there. Yes, we can do these modifications in an advanced project.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, continue what you were saying.
Yes, so basically we're just placing our frame one right in x and y axis. So like yeah, so basically suppose we're placing at x position and y position, let's say 0 and 0. It's so basically it's middle of the graph, right? So you wanted to specify the size for the frame. You want it to be like bigger or smaller. So depending on your size, you're placing the width and height here values. So basically, as you can see, it's 0.11, 0.17, so on, right? So basically, we're just mapping out those particular size in the graph and we're using a relative x-axis and y-axis for that. So you can even use like x equal to 50, 6, 60, yeah, 50, 60, something like that. So that's about it. This is very easy. You can just read the documentation about placing frames in Tinker, something like that. It's very easy to understand. And then you can frame 2 also does the same thing. We're creating another frame, and then we're mapping out in the x and y axis. As you can see, the values here x and y is slightly larger than the the frame 1, because that is because like you wanted to place your frame below, something like that, below the frame 1, something like that. That's why. So it goes a bit down, and then here where you're placing the same height as the height of the frame 1. So basically here on the line 369 370, you're just printing the message here, that maybe you wanted to show like in the middle of this main window page, like it's a project name or whatever, something like that of a kind. And then you have given a foreground color here as white, and your background color here as a hexa code, something like that, maybe red, orange, depending on your choice. And then here we have specified a width and height here for the particular text, how much the text will take, the total size, something like that. And here, as you can see, font, it
Mm,
takes in 3 arguments. First is the
Mehman, I
the
want to
style.
interrupt in one thing. For better color code understanding, you can simply Google on this any site.
Yes, they can Google, they can just find for hex code online.
Just type hex color. There you can find the hex code as well as this RGB codes, everything. Just keep on doing, and based on your color choice, you just copy this hex code and paste it there. That's all what I want to say, isn't it? That this is the hex code, this is the RGB code, and this is other codes which you can see.
Yes, that's correct. That's about it. And then moving on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so basically I was explaining about the font here, where it takes in 3 arguments. So the first one is the basically for styling. As you have seen on some word editor or something, there's many kind of font styling, right? Like Libris, something like that of a kind. I don't remember.
Times
So
New
yeah,
Roman.
yeah, something like that. And then secondly, here you're specifying the size. So your text size here is in 29. So you can give 30 depending on your size. If you want it to be larger, you give more higher values. And then basically here you wanted your maybe your your text your text formats to be in bold, or like maybe italics or underline, so you can basically specify that here. So that's about it. And then you wanted to place your message which you have created. So you've created a message, right? Face recognition based attendance route monitoring system. So you wanted to place that text like in your GUI in which position. So that's about it. So x is equal to 10, y is equal to 10. Here you can notice that we are not using relative x and y axis, we're using just the normal x and y axis. So that's why you can use like either way, anything works fine. So you're just placing the messages here above the like in the above portion of your window, of your main window. That's about it. And then on the frame tree here, you can see that we're creating another frame, and we have given a color here, and we are still using in the same window. Here you can notice that if you wanted these frames to be placed on a different window, you have to create another different window. For example, I can just write window 3 is equal to tk.tk. So that created, that helps me to create another tinker window. And then I can just specify the size, same thing as line number 370 57 to 361, everything will be the same, just a different window. And then you can specify a different window, that is just for creating a different GUI, something like that. So basically moving on back to the frame tree, here we are making another window. We are specifying in the same window as you have noticed here, window, comma, then background of that particular window, and then we're just placing their position here in x axis, y axis, and we're giving the width and height. Same for frame 4 as well. As you can see, the x and y axis keeps on changing in each and every frame. That is because you need to place, your frames in different sections, so it does not overlap the other. You can play around with these and you will understand better. And then 378 and 379 here in this line, so basically you're just like writing the date and time which we have created the function, right? So basically you will use that, uh, you'll just write those data there inside, like maybe just printing like date is equal to, it's just basically for specifying date and time. I believe in the project you have noticed that date is equal to like 07 something like that, no? And then on line number 381 to 383, where we have even printed a clock here just to show, right, like maybe the size, like the font of your clock, like the text, just like manipulating text data here, like like here we have given a bold and a comic font style, something like that. And then where we're just filling the clock. Filling is basically like just using the total width and height of that particular window size, something like that. And then here we have a tick function here, so basically we're just calling that clock, right, which we have already predefined. So we're just using that function here so that the clock starts ticking. And then yeah, that's basically it. And here we have a heads to and heads to that width. So this is basically again, so yeah, in short, these are just variable names. So here we are, as you can, if you notice here, we're just using this label tk.label, right? So this is just a tinker label. Label is basically used for maybe inserting a frame, writing strings inside the frame, and then maybe modifying the color and giving a font size. That's basically it. It's all the same. And here head.grid row is equal to 0. This is basically creating a like a grid, like an axis for your column. This is basically for like your, if you notice in the project we have column and stuffs like that. So that's basically it. You can move on to the next slide. Yeah, so label here, we have specified a label here. So as you can see that on the on the text box field, you saw that it's written enter id and the name. So that is this portion. We're just printing, like writing data in, I mean writing a string in a GUI, and then we're just specifying the size here, place in 80, 55. This is basically like where you wanted the id string to pop up, right, in your GUI. You can change these values to test out and stuff like that. And then you can, yeah, and then you can move on to line number. It's basically the same from line number 394 to 300. And
Are you there? Hello?
as you can see on the save profile here, we have this this frame 2. And then here you can see that we are placing the x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 230. So this is just basically printing data. It's same as the previous codes. Everything is the same here. So basically you're just mapping, okay, you're just mapping your x-axis and y-axis. And here on the above, you're just placing the frames like where you wanted these strings to be placed, right? uh so that's about it about this GUI. And then if you have any doubts on this, you can just reach us out
WhatsApp
in
group.
yeah, reach us out on WhatsApp or maybe on Instagram. We will provide that in the description.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then yeah, that's basically it. This is very like you can play around with this in order to understand what's happening with the GUI. It's just placing the string on your first
Yes,
frame or
yes,
second
yes.
frame. And then yes, that's it. And then now you can see here 412 rest is equal to 0. This is basically for calculating your, as you can see that when you take attendance, you start that there's a column, right? So that's basically for that particular column. So you need to start from like registration, something like that. As you can see in the project, if Darshan shows, I believe that the total registration is 2. So this is basically that RAS is equal to 0, as you can see. But since there are 2 registered user, you can see that on the GUI is printed as 2. So this is basically to keep count of the total number of registration. And here on the axis 0, this is where we start our column portion, which I've mentioned just now. So here on this column, we're just reading first how many number of students are there in the student details. We're reading this. After reading this, then we start displaying this data. This is basically a for in function here. We're just looping, we're just incrementing and looping each and every data of the person, and then here we are just displaying this data here. Res is equal to res, and then so on and so forth. And then we close this file after reading those a person's data total registering, and then we display those person's data inside the code, right, Darshan?
Yes, yes,
We can
yes.
move on. Basically, for this particular line, you can even modify in one shot, whereas like instead of using a for each loop, you just iterate the total number of count, also something like that. You can modify these values. It's very simple. Right, Darshan? You can move on to the next slide.
Okay.
That is basically just for printing total number of registering. Okay, well, just below the column. So now we reach up to the portion, the column portion. Here,
Yes.
first we created a. So basically, this line menu bar, as you can see, if Darshan has clicked, like maybe there's like a three menu button or something like that of a kind.
Yes, yes.
When you click, then you can see there's a drop down menu or something like that where you can change password, contact us. This is basically that code. Okay, so if you're just making a label here, something like that. It's same as the previous code, and then you can just play around with this also. Basically, this is not really required in the project. You can remove this. Okay, so here tree view attendance table. This is that column that I've been telling about since that time. This is where first you create a tree view. Tree view is like it will display in a formats where each and every column will be specified correctly, something like that. It will create a white column, something like that. And here you specify the column's name, date, and time, because you display these data. You can give more data like check in, check out, something like that. And then here you can see tv.column #0. This 0 which I've mentioned earlier, it's a root. So basically you don't need write data anything here. You write data only in name, date, and time. And then here id in your root you're writing, basically you're just placing first of all you're just placing these data inside your column. After that you are placing your grid view from where will the column data starts. Then heading here is just basically to print data in these headings, like what will be placed, right? Like as you can see in the GUI, this ID, name, and date and time, everything in uppercase. So basically that's is that you're just placing the data in the columns, writing data in shorts. And then basically scroll bar here is just a function, so you can scroll up and down of your columns. So like suppose there are 100 registered members, you can scroll down, otherwise you cannot scroll right, you cannot see the registered data, something like that. And that's about it. And here on line what 455 till 457, this is basically you're placing a clear button. This is basically GUI button right now. Okay, that clear function which we have created before, that is basically just a function. Okay, so you're calling that function in a GUI format. So you're creating a GUI using tk.button. So after that you're passing in the frame like where you wanted to place this button, and then you specify the text clear or maybe delete. You can change clear to delete or something like that. Then command is equal to clear. This clear here is the function which we have created. Okay, that we have created in the previous lines of codes. It's not like an inbuilt function or something. This is your predefined function, like I mean your function which you have created. Then here we have a foreground color as bar black and whatnot. These are just color, and you're specifying the width and width and stuff like that. You can even specify the height here, like something like that. So yeah, since you're specifying the height here, so basically it's taking the default text height here. So but if you specify a height here, you can make the height more bigger or something like that. But since you didn't specify here, so basically it takes the normal text height, as you can see on the codes. Like if you run the project, you will notice that. An active background here is just like maybe if you click on the let's say clear. After clicking clear, after pressing the button, you can see the color of the button changes to white color. So that's basically add active background. So if you don't give this active background, so if let's suppose your color of the button is blue, and if you click upon it, it will still be blue. But if you specify as white, then it will change from blue to white. That's basically it. And this font here is just the font of the clear, that text is equal to clear. It's just a font for that. So same thing with clear button 2 as well. You can move on to the next slide.
Basically, the last part of the code. This is
Yes, yes, it's last part of the code. So here clear button 2 also works as clear button 1. Now we have tick images here. So basically this also is just a button, like a button. Remember that tick images button? Yeah,
Yes,
so that's that.
yes.
This is also the same. You are specifying to which frame you wanted to put this button, and then you can give text here. As you can see, text here we have given as tick images. Instead of tick images, you can give like maybe capture data or something, anything, whatever you want. And then here command is equal to tick images. Here command is a in like a tinker function, right? So where it ticks in a function, like it's like triggering a function. So tick images here is already a function which we have already created, right, Tarshan?
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
already created, yes. So that's basically it. It's the same. As you can see, if you click on the stick images, also the active background goes to white. It's the same thing which I've mentioned earlier. So this is all the same. And yes, as I've already mentioned this about this place, also that place is you want to specify at which position you wanted this button to, like, to plot in or something like that, to map out. As you can see, like x is 30, y is 30, so basically it's to the right side of the graph, and y, like, it goes down, so it's like that. It goes down up to 300 pixels or frames or whatever you call it. And then yeah, that's basically it. And then train images, track images, these are also buttons, same thing as take images. Then we have a quit window here. Quit window here, as you can see that we have an, so here in this quit window, right, as you can see, everything is the same but except for the command. Command, as you can see, it's window.destroy. So what's this window? Window is basically your tinker window, okay, which you have already created. It's your main window. So you're calling that tinker main window and you're destroying it. So this is not a function which we have created. This is already an predefined inbuilt function given by tinker and Python. And then you're just closing the window, you're just passing out your, let's say, object or something like that. And then you're just then on line 466, you can see that we're just placing this quit button on, on which position of the screen you want. You can even give, instead of the text is equal to quit, you can give an big X also, something like that, if you want to make it more fancy. Yeah, so that's basically it. So on line 470, as you can see, this is just to, specify your menu bar, whether you want the menu bar to be active or not. Like, you are just configuring it. It's very basic. So as you can see on line 471, this is window.main loop. So if you don't give this code, right, so basically your window will pop up when you run the project. Your entire window will pop up only once, but after that, after like it display once, then it will close itself automatically. Why? Because we have not specified a main loop. So basically you need your tinker window to keeps on, like, re-rendering it, keeps on looping, to keeps on, to keeps on, like, to keeps on calling it, to keeps on creating your window over and over again until you press on the quit or something like that. So basically it's just to, to self create itself so that it does not close, right, traction?
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Yes, you can look about like the details in documentations or the PPT, which we have already mentioned these things, everything in detail. In the PPT, we have also mentioned about the algorithm, the flowchart, as well as the working systems and the functions. Everything is already given there.
In the
So
flow,
please
the
check it out.
flowchart
Yes,
will come into the next slides only.
yes. So that's about is this explanation of this entire code project. If you have any doubts, you can reach us, on WhatsApp or maybe on Instagram. We will put the link in the description below. Yes,
Yeah,
Darshan, you
yeah.
can move on to the next slide. Yes, so basically these are the portion where Darshan will explain now. Yes, so we
This
have already
we have,
explained these,
yes, yes. You
we
have
have already
already
explained
explained.
this. This is just a brief explanation, like a very short glimpse where you can, display on your project, college project or something, just to remember what is what, like what function is what, right?
Yes,
Move
yes,
on
yes.
to the next slide.
Yes, this is contents which of this. So moving to the yeah, face recognition and detection process. Here you can see the, should I call it as flowchart? Hello, hello, Meban, are you there?
Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. Now you are
Yeah, there's a
audible.
bug with the mic. I guess I don't know. Maybe there's a wire issue. Yes, yes. What were you saying?
Oh, I was saying that should I call this as flowchart or something else?
No, no, that's not a flow chart. That is just like maybe the walking system of, you can say, like it's a design,
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
blueprint,
A
or the
blueprint.
walking of the walking function of that the overall project. So basically here, student enrollment, this is basically a, remember on that function of train images, this is basically that. So first you are opening your CV2 camera, that is image capture. So you're processing, you're converting your CV2, remember, from your color image to gray, and then you're using a scaling here, scaling which we have mentioned previously, like defined as 1.5, if you remember, after the gray color,
Yeah,
v
yeah,
comma 1.5 comma 2, something like that. Yeah, so that is this, to scale the images. This is like scaling here, you can understand it as like the size, like you're manipulating with the size.
yeah,
So after that, this is face detection. This is basically a folder here. Okay, this is a folder here where you're storing your images, and then you're developing an image data set. So basically, develop image data set is that after creating the folder, you're storing all the small images, up to 100 images, and then you're using an LBPH algorithm, remember, in order to identify each and every image uniquely.
yeah,
So this, overall, this box here, you're using Haar cascade. After that, you're saving the images. After saving images, in order to scan the particular images, you're using LPPH here. So that's it. And here on the operation on real time, this is for track images. This is when you wanted to take attendance. So this is, you're opening your video capture again, or image capture. Here also, I believe it should be a video capture on the student enrollment. You can make the changes here, and then here the system is the same. I mean, the algorithm is the same. So basically, you're preprocessing your images, you're storing into the database, or maybe you're fetching from the database, depending on your you know on your specification and whatnot. And then you're using this LBPH again to recognize, so it compares between this face detection, the images which you have taken, which is currently taken on real time, it compares with the images which you have already stored. Using LBPH, you are comparing both images, and then you will map out the ID and name of that particular student. If it does not match, then this thing will not occur. Okay, this ID and name recognized student, this thing will it will not go to this line. Basically, it will just like close the project or something. Right, Darshan? You can
yes,
move
yes,
on.
yes.
Move on to the next slide. Yes, so this is basically the process which we have, which we have already explained, right, Darshan? This is basically where we have written down everything in details. If you
Yeah,
do not
yeah.
understand Haar cascade, this is basically, you can even present it out as your main project or something like that in your finals, in your BTech semester or whatever. And then, yeah, you can move on, Darshan. I believe you can just show them what is,
This is
you can
already
just show them.
explained, right?
Yes, yes, this is all, everything is written here in detail, and we have like write it in a very understandable line, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We have tried to explain it as easy as possible. That's about it. You can move on, Darshan. You can just show them a glimpse. They can just pause the stream if they want.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Adaptive, boostive,
Yes,
boosting.
this is used. Yeah, this is used inside Haar cascade. You can move on. This is we have explained it detailedly. You can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You can keep moving on. They will just pause the stream. Yes, yes. Keep moving on.
Okay, the LPPH full form is local binary pattern histogram.
Yes, 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 yes. I have written this in a very easy format for you guys to understand, where you can even present this project in your college or you know organization.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can move on, Darshan. This is the data flow diagram, the working, the working function of your this one, basically the project on how it works. You can move on. Yes, this is just basically signing up where you enter your roll number, name, and then register on your CSV. Yeah, you can move on. Yeah, this is basically, yeah, your your students. This is where you wanted to start taking images using track images. It opens your camera, then it stores in a folder, it accesses your webcam, something like that. It's very simple. Move on. Yes, this is where how the algorithms work, how the Haar cascade work, how what's happening once the camera is triggered, what happens once the detection occurs. This is basically that flow diagram for you guys to understand. You can move on, Darshan. This is the flow chart. It's very basic where you can understand that we start first the project, then we run a camera. So basically, it's a very it's a glimpse of the project. Basically, you enter your fields. Then after entering fields, you click on the button. Then the camera opens. Then it captures. Then it compare with the database if there's already a pre-existing data. If it does not exist, then this is just basically for tracking images,
This
for
whole
scanning.
flowchart, rather I would say this whole flowchart is about how this project is working, that I have just shown
Yes,
while
yes,
starting the stream, that
yes,
you
yes,
take
yes,
images, then store your data, then it's compare your when taking the attendance, it compares the data with present image and the stored data. This
yes,
whole
yes,
thing is just summarized in this flowchart.
yes. So basically, I have made this entire PPT in a very easy manner for you guys to understand, right, Darshan?
Yes.
Yes, you can move on to the next slide. Yeah, this is the database design. Database design is basically like where you're storing your Excel sheet, your folders, and whatnot. Basically, in the advanced project, we can even make a project, where you can store on live server or on,
Yeah.
hosting.
Even
You can host
many,
your project on servers.
in if I am not wrong, many of you, many of the, I am saying about audience only. Many of you have said that is it possible to do implement it on SQL server or something like that? That we
Yes, it is
will.
possible.
It is possible, but that we will do in some advanced codings or right.
Yes, we will do an advanced coding.
We
As like
will.
you,
We
if
will.
you, yes,
We
we
will
will
let.
need your support.
We
We
will
will need your
later
support.
we will later update this project in that way.
Yes, we will need your support and your likes and love, everything for
Yeah, absolutely,
to give
absolutely.
us confidence, to build more advanced project for you guys.
Yeah, to build
Yeah,
and
move on.
and also to explain database dictionary.
Yes, you can move on. This is dictionary. This is basically like how you're mapping your data inside your CSV file. As you can see in our CSV, we have our roll number, our name, our date, our time, our attendance. Attendance is basically that folder CSV, right? Where we have map out, and images is basically where we are storing inside the training folder, right, Darshan?
Yes.
Yes. This is just a glimpse of what our dictionary looks like. You can move on to the next slide. Yes, this is the algorithm of how the project works. This is very easy to understand. You can read it about yourself. Move on, Darshan. Yes, just move on. They can just pause the, yeah.
Okay, now
And so we have reached to the end of our project explanation. So if you wanted you want any other projects, be it a Python project or maybe be it a web project or an app project, anything, you can
or
just
even
reach out to
web
us.
development like making a website or some
Yes,
that
or maybe
also.
application development like Android apps or iOS, or maybe if you want let's say a game project also, we can work on that. So basically just reach us out, right, Darshan?
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
can reach us out on
We will
WhatsApp
later.
and Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Wait a minute. Let me say one thing. Currently, we are not having any Instagram page right now, or not page,
Yes,
account. But
I do
let
have an Instagram account. You can just reach out to me for the time being, right, Darshan? Then we will make our
yeah, yeah,
official page.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We will make a page later on and in the Instagram. So, should we end it or guys? If you are watching the stream, please say, are you having any doubts or we should end it here? I think no one is. I think we should end here, right?
Yes, yes. And Darshan, one more thing, you can just like maybe re-edit the stream, into like the major components which we have explained so that the audience can just focus on what we are explaining, right?
Basically, we can do one thing. We will later add timestamps.
Yes, we
That
can add timestamps. Yes.
timestamp.
Yeah. You please do that, and then I will just send you my Instagram handle where you can paste it out in the description, and you
Yes, yes,
can
yes,
paste your
yes.
PPT as well. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you guys for watching the stream so long. It's already over 3 hours we are streaming. Already over
Yes, yes.
3 hours, and
Yes, yes,
whoever
yes.
was watching through the entire streams, thanks a lot for
Yes.
your support, and please keep supporting us like this so that we can do even better streaming in future.
Yes, with
So
advanced project.
yes, with advanced projects. And so I'm ending the stream here. Thank you guys. Hope you are
Yes,
having a
thank you
nice
guys.
day. So I'm stopping the stream right now.
Okay.